All right, so I didn't really film an intro for this one, so we're gonna call this again Rick's Raw Review. It's gonna be uncut, unedited, just the truth, and nothing sugar coated. So this is my ridiculous chiller tank. This is the insulated aluminum foiled lines. I feel like Zoltan from Dude, Where's My Car? Yes, Regaroo. What do you need? You're in your undies, man. I can't really put you on camera here. So this is the tank, 3 gallons. Supplements the factory overflow reservoir for the intercooler. And we hooked up the forced induction interchiller. And we actually were able to get in, well, wasn't expecting to do this today, but truck's filthy. There's the interchiller there. A big rectangle guy. We had to make a custom bracket for that because of the bumper and everything else we have going on. We have the brawler fab behind the grill lights, which move the windshield washer reservoir, which was here, to here. And then we fabbed up, since we needed to put the tank here, we fabbed up, well, actually we didn't really have to fab up anything. This is an existing hole for the cross member. And so we put the windshield washer for the reservoir there, obviously, and it's tucked in, nestled into its cozy spot here, with the lines kind of hugging it. So it's very solid. This thing is, I mean, it moves around a little bit, but it's probably more solid now than it was from the factory. So and you can see some of the other lines there that we've insulated. Hopefully you can see that. A lot of work went into this. Is there anything else? Reggie! I think that's it. So after this will be the driving video. Alright, so today we're gonna do just a quick video of life with an interchiller. Can you sit down, dude? Alright, so right now we're rocking 86 degrees on the IC coolant temp. It's about 80 degrees outside. North Florida, Jacksonville, humidity is probably, let's see, I'll give you the exact number, probably 80. Let's see, it is 79%. I don't know if you can see that. All right, so far it's great. But it has some, you know, this isn't as plug and play as some people might think. There's a little bit of tweaking and things you gotta do, things you gotta know. All right, so first of all, if I activate my air conditioner, which is this button here, currently AC is on. If I'm not running high AC pressures, like my fan speed or the temperature, it's basically like running without heat exchanger and without anything to cool my intercooler coolant. In order to chill the intercooler coolant with the AC on, I need to be rocking, you know, this temperature will be fine, but I need to be at least, you know, 3 or 4 on the fan speed, if not higher. So for 80, 90 degree days where your truck's sitting outside and it's super hot and you're cranking the AC, perfect, works great. For super cold days, it's also great because you can just push this button here, or whatever button you have, shut off the air conditioning, and just, you know, crack a window or put it in vent mode. Like if it's 30 or 40 or 50 degrees outside, I can just run the defrost on for you know, a couple minutes, cools the cabin down with outside air, and then turn it off. But it's you know, you're constantly going defrost, no defrost, defrost, no defrost. If you shut the AC off completely, then the chiller does nothing. So you always got to have the AC running, or the fan speed, I should say. The fan speed should be running by, you know, at least 1 fan notch. So if I go like down 1 more off, then even if my button is on, my AC is on, or my button's off, it don't matter. Like, it's not gonna do a damn thing. So just keep that in mind. You got to have a fan on, at least 1. If you don't want, you know, fans blowing your way, point them at your man here, your wife, or whoever you got in the passenger seat. Humidity is a huge deal, because let's say right now I have my AC is off, right? Since this button is not illuminated, it's off. So that means that my coolant temps are gonna drop. So we'll crank it up to fan speed 2, and we'll watch these things drop quite a bit before we get home. We only have another 8 minutes or so to drive, but you're gonna watch these things go down pretty quickly. We put a 3-gallon coolant tank in, so it takes a little longer to heat and a little longer to cool, which is good and bad, I guess. We like it. It's once it's cold, it stays cold, you know, for a while. So, but I think, you know, you'd be fine without it as well, unless you're tracking or dragging your car or truck. So, all right. So we've got. Looks like the coolant temp just went up a little bit, which is strange. Should go down. All right. So another thing to talk about is the going back to humidity. So once this thing drops the coolant temp down to let's say 50 or below, which it does very easily if the AC is not on, if you're running in chiller only mode, you drive for like 15-20 minutes in Florida humidity, and you push the pedal down all the way, wide open throttle, you will notice some hesitation, some bogging. There will be humidity, there'll be condensation in the cylinders that you've got to kind of clear out. So not a huge deal, but when the humidity is really high, like in the 90s, sometimes even just cruising, not even wide open throttle, like after 20 or 30 minutes of your coolant temps being in the 40s or 50s, mostly the 40s or lower, it will actually start like sputtering and backfiring on you, almost like, you know, you've got like a cylinder misfire or a bad plug or something. So so just something to keep in mind. So basically how we do it in Florida is how we've been doing it for the last couple months is you know, it's been mostly cool out, so it's not really been an issue, but the humidity is always high. So we are typically running with AC on, and then that will keep the coolant temperatures in, you know, within a good range that the humidity is not gonna cause condensation in the cylinders. If it's, you know, summertime, you're never gonna run with the AC off, so it's not an issue. But if it's wintertime and you're running with the AC off, then just give it a, you know, give it a romp every once in a while, kind of clear your cylinders. Think about it like as you're clearing your throat, you know, you're got some postnasal dick and you're, you know, need to clear your throat. So you got to do that probably every 15, 20, 25 minutes, depending on how high the humidity is, you know, assuming it's 80 plus and your coolant temps are in the high 40s or lower. Overall, we have the, I should have said at the beginning, we have the FI Interchillers, the guy out in Australia. Pretty good dude, definitely, you know, very possessive over his product. He has a good one, so I get it. But you know, he'll be the first one to kind of tell you that you know, something else is wrong. Unicorns are poking holes in your filter, or poking holes in your exhaust and shitting in your filters before it could be something wrong with his kit. So that's the only drawback I'd say with using his kit. It is really good. We've had really no issues with it other than installation error and just being a noob to AC stuff. So yeah, so that's pretty much the quick, not really that quick, but little rundown just off the top of my head on the way home from IHOP for a late breakfast with the pup here. And so you'll see here we're already at 53. It probably would have been in the 40s by now if we didn't have that 3-gallon tank, but it takes a little longer to chill all that fluid, and so we got an extra 3 gallons on board. But one other thing I wanted to note is if you've got a Hellcat, you've got drive modes. The drive modes make a pretty big difference on your coolant temps. So I'm in auto mode right now, just regular mode. This is one of the best for your intercooler duty cycle. So it's definitely running at, I think it's, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but it's running at a pretty good clip in auto mode. So you'll get pretty cold temps here. The coldest temps you'll get, if you're trying to look for the absolute coldest, would be Baja mode. Baja runs at like 60-something% duty cycle for the intercooler. So that's gonna be your best bet for getting the coldest temp. So if we switch to like if we let this run all the way down as far as it'll go, it'll probably be, right now in auto mode, 80 degrees, it'll probably be like high 30s, mid 30s. If we run it in Baja mode, it'll drop it down like 6 to 8 more degrees. So definitely get into the 20s, maybe even the teens as well. So so Baja mode's your best bet. Tow mode absolutely blows, as well as custom mode, which sucks because we like custom mode. We got our suspension set to, you know, Baja, we got our sport transmission setting. But custom mode is like tow mode almost. It's just as bad. Whatever the duty cycle is, it sucks. And so if you want to crank your intercooler coolant temps up 6 to 8 degrees from auto, go to custom mode or tow mode. Snow mode, I feel like I'm going to immediately turn into a homo if I activate snow mode. So I've actually never driven for even a second in that mode. So I think that's all the modes we've got. Oh, sport. Sport is almost as good as Baja. So sport is great to run around. You'll get basically almost as cold temps as Baja in sport, but not quite as good. Somewhere between auto and Baja. So yeah, you can see it's been a couple minutes and we're already in the 40s. Now if I crank this AC up and crank the temperature down, should have done that earlier, but it will actually cool a little bit quicker. And just to show you, we'll go to Baja. Oh yeah, there's mud and sand and rock. So mud and sand I have not tried, and rock I have not tried because I haven't really cared all that much about my temps when I'm plowing through the mud. So usually I run Baja mode anyways. So we're in Baja now. We'll just watch it kind of drop down a little bit, 44. See what it gets to by the end of this video. Dude, if you're trying to jump, man, you're committing puppy side here, okay? Just relax. All right, so I think that's pretty much all the things I had to say. Basically, recap. Installation is a totally different story. Recap on the FI interchiller is if you're in a high humidity state, you definitely need to be concerned about that because, you know, if you're someone like me who, you know, gets someone that wants to try him a little bit on the highway or in the city or whatever, is given, you know, a couple revs and want to see what's up, like I like to give them the beans and shut them down. So it's almost like, you know, are you better off with the chiller, knowing that you're gonna have to clear your throat? Because if you hit it with condensation in the cylinders, you're not gonna be beating very many vehicles out there unless it's a minivan with a flat. So without the chiller, you're running, you know, 125, 135, 140 degree temps. So you're, you know, basically heat soaked all the time, especially in the summer in Florida. So you get timing pulled and, you know, all that. So you're losing power. But with this, you don't lose the power, but you got to make sure your throat's cleared. Kind of is the best way to describe it. So we're almost home here. 44, 42. Probably see that drop to the 30s by the time we pull into the driveway. But I think that's pretty much everything I've got off the rip. My dog's about to jump out the window here. Let's see what it gets. See if we can get to the 30s. Hold on. All right. Well, my neighbor is a turd, so I'm gonna just plow through his driveway here. Oh yeah, there we go. Sorry, bro. Helps the grass, man. All right, now you're calm, huh? As we pull in. All right, so 41. I'm not gonna sit here for much longer. 42, it's dropping slowly, but it'll get into the 30s, and we've had it actually into the teens. 18, I think, or maybe 16, I think was the lowest we've seen, which is just ridiculous. You don't need anything that low. The lines are frozen, which is pretty cool. My kids love it. You can actually pick the snow off of, like, pick the ice off of the line, and she eats it. So try and keep my line clean so so my kid can eat the snow off it. We live in Florida, so we got no snow, nothing like it. Please don't eat the center console. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this one. Kind of a ridiculous, drawn out, you know, unorganized, whatever. But it's you know, just wanted to share my impressions after a couple months of ownership of a chiller on a Hellcat in Florida, and I'll be sure to update with any other pros, cons as they unfold. All right, guys, sign off, Mr. Bear. There it is. I'm gonna go eat our breakfast.